Lots of trial and error ahead. Come up with us.
I don't up.
Jesus. Can't get my fat fingers in there.
Wow! Big scratch.
You're watching Service Call, proudly produced by Tekamo and sponsored by Fortis HD and Rent One.
Boring job.
In this episode, Cam plays with his new toy.
They're pretty good.
What am I doing here? What am I doing here?
Keith installs a temporary diverter valve system on a John Deere 35G for an emergency rental.
Let's do the GWC special.
And Tyler troubleshoots a Cat 314E.
I don't know what the problem is.
With the power of editing, I have nothing up.
If you haven't already, make sure you sign up for our newsletter. Keeps you in the know of when we release stuff, and there'll be some discounts and some behind-the-scenes stuffs here and there as well. Wrench extenders are back in stock in Canada and the US. Oh, there's the big one. These really go quick, medium, normal, small. Back in stock now. These go relatively quick. If you need them, reach out, parts@fortishd.com. If you go on the website, search wrench extenders, they'll pop up with the 4 different sizes. We got a bunch in Canada, and there's a bunch more in the States, so give us a call, give us a try. I ain't throwing them back at you because they're heavy.
Oh, what's good today? We're on our way right now to pick up some new toys. Some new toys. Yeah, we're picking up some new gear for our company so we can expand on our capabilities. Should I give it away now or do we wait a little bit? Or do we just tell them? Just fucking tell them. What does it matter? They're gonna find out eventually anyways. So yeah, we're going to pick up some new tooling. You guys might have remembered last year when we did the Malco booth at Bama. Yeah, we took a look at some line boring gear. I talked about like, oh, I want to get into line boring. It's a big step for us because we're just dumb mechanics. We're not like machinists and engineers. Lots of trial and error ahead. So we'll come up with us and we'll give you guys an honest product review and feedback on the system when we get it running. So why does that sign say anal? Mega Anal International. And perverts. Bye for now. We'll see you when we're back at the shop maybe. All right? Mm-hmm. Welcome to a boring day. Just kidding. That's terrible. Oh man. Let's see. Big scratch. These knives are like super sharp. I'm gonna use this one. It's got less edges. Mow! Look at that. It's almost there. Wow! That's it. All done. It's like Ferrari red. I thought I ordered it in blue. I couldn't afford the blue. That's right. The blue ones were double the price. I'm gonna go find a spot in the shop to put it. So go stab my truck. Oh yeah. That's probably good. There we go. I'm just gonna go down. That'll work. Everything's like packaged really nice. This is the facing. Pew pew. It's your supports, your bearing supports. These are centering cones. I was reading all on this before, so I don't remember any of it now though. Do they give me the tools to take it out or they give you everything but that? There's probably instructions on it, like read this before you do anything. Oh yeah, there we go. Sick. It's here. Now what do I do with it? Malco tools. Thanks for getting it here safely. I'm excited to use it. I think one of the big things for me too was like how compact everything was. With this, we can do stick nose bushings on like a 470. That's a pretty standard thing to do. Yeah, so we'll get some practice runs and for now we'll start on, like I have spare bores and like junk material here that we can practice on and get like the bore welder set up on and that kind of thing. So this is the drive unit. This is what drives the bar and this is like the power feed unit. Off switch, on switch, facing unit, power drive, So this top wand here, it attaches to our welder, right? Well, the first thing you do is set it up with your bearing blocks and everything. That's what these cones are for centering in the worn out hole. So the idea behind these is between this and your measurements, you should be able to, it's there pretty good. You should be able to get your hole fairly close to like the original location. So once your bearing blocks, once these are kind of welded in place on the machine, you know, these would literally just go on. I'll show you on the machine right here, actually. So you would open these up and weld them onto the outside face, right? After you've centered it. I'm giving all my secrets out. So these centering cones, once you have everything centered and you got your bar in there, you slide your bearing on, and now your bearing's set and centered. You weld those points on while everything's attached and tight. You take out your bar and your cones, and then that thing is now set where it needs to be. That's it. That's her. Pretty nice. It's the boring job. It's the boring company.
Today we are going to put a diverter valve on this machine to take the hydraulics from the pivot boom circuit, and we're going to make it work for this tilt rotator. So we're going to use the thumb circuit to make the tilt part of the bucket work, and we're going to use the pivot boom circuit. We're going to divert the valve down to here, and it's going to work the rotate circuit onto this. So what we got to do is get a valve, we got to do some electrical, run some hydraulic hoses. Now this system is going to be temporarily installed. The first thing I always like to do is I remove the glass, because when we tilt the cab, the glass is going to come in contact with these front hoses, and I don't like buying new glass for stupid mistakes. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is we want to remove this little panel, because as the cab tilts forward, this will bend if we don't remove it. Some of the older models had a mechanism on the side of the cab that you could use to tilt it forward. This one doesn't. Now you don't want to get underneath this cab in case something breaks, something moves. There's a little safety right here. You can't pull it up, you have to pull it back. You can pull it up, and it's going to go in this pocket. Now the cab can't come down, and it's safe to access under the cab and go underneath it. Everything we're doing for now is in this hole. I've already been under this cab. I measured and got all the hoses and fittings. So the next thing we need to do is get the valve in there, start running some hoses and fittings to it. But we need to know which hoses go where and what this valve exactly does, so that when we hit the switch, it doesn't just send oil to places that we don't want to send it to. If you bought the valve and it came with a schematic or it came with instructions, that's fine. In this case, it didn't, so I need to figure it out. So you can start blowing into ports and see where it comes out. If I blow into this port, it comes out right here. If I blow into this one, it's deadheaded. So we know that either these two or these two are going to be our in. To check which one is the out while it's activated, you can add power to these terminals. Now I've already done that. I know that these two are my in, these two are my out without it being energized. When it's energized, these two are my out. I have some fittings here. I'm going to get some of the fittings into this thing, get them tightened up, essentially to start mocking it up and getting it ready to install. So the valve is gonna float in this area here. So we've got to remove the hoses from this end. First thing we want to do whenever you're going to work on hydraulics on a machine, we're going to release the pressure on the hydraulic tank, pop it open. You heard a little bit of a hiss of air, put it back on. Now for ease, I'm going to pop this panel off right here just so I have a little bit of side access. It's still tight in here. It's still going to be a nightmare. Typical camera guys. I'll pull the hose out here. That's the first hose. And now to try and get onto the second hose. Plug in this one as well. So we're going to try and pop this fitting out here. Now this fitting is going to be a BSPP, it's not an ORB. It's a different thread size and a different thread pitch. And if you jam an ORB in there, you're going to damage the threads and wreck the threads. Now to try and get it started. Now the trick is to try and get it tight. Perfect. We got those two changed. And I've got a couple of hoses that we're gonna throw into there. So it's gonna be these two that we're using. we're gonna try and see if we can get the hoses actually connected now. Now to get these tightened up, it might be some more fun. Now that this hose was a pain in the ass to tighten, hopefully we don't have to take it off again.
There's no foreshadowing there, right?
No setups going on here. I like to just get in, get it done, move on to the next. So when I have to redo something, I don't really like it. This hose is getting in the way a little bit. Everything's so tight on these small machines. No, it's going now. So we have to come through here. There's one. There's the second one. Now we have to connect these two hoses. At this point, we don't know which one's left or right, so we're just gonna connect them whichever way works best. And if it's going the wrong direction, we can change it at the other end when we get to that point. So now that those two are hooked up, we've got 4 other ones we'll hook up. So these are gonna be the next 2 we're gonna hook up. So this was the shorter hose. We're gonna go onto the shorter one with it. Now we wanna connect this one. That should be good like that. Now these 2 hoses connect to the top. Probably being a pain in the ass too. Now this is the closest one, should be hooked up to the shortest one. So the valve, the cylinder goes the right direction. Ugh. The more hoses we get connected, the harder it is. Will it work? I think we're fine there. This is a Discovery Channel here. We will make drama where there is no drama needed. The next thing we're gonna do now is run hoses down the boom and stuff like that. We're gonna start on that end and we're gonna work our way backwards. So like I said, we're just putting these on for temporary. In this case, we're just gonna strap hoses on, get the oil down here. We can use the machine for what we need and we can remove it when we need to remove it. These are quick connects, yeah, so that we can connect the hoses from the tilt bucket to this. So these ones are Nip-X. They're better. Okay, we're pretty much done in here for now. And I'm gonna look in here and figure out what the f I'm gonna do. That's a big ass pizza.
Where do you rate this tool?
Good.
Back to Cam. The initial setup is done. Now the boring part.
We've got a lot more here since we first bought the machine. Yeah, I'm gonna work now, so I'll show you guys. So I've already tacked this up. One of the finicky parts about setup is trying to tack and get your bearing blocks in, and you want to be able to go back and forth nicely by hand. Well, I'm just gonna slide these guys off. I know guys will wonder, how do you just like figure out where to set it up and whatnot? And because I always wondered that too. We just bought these alignment cones. They're wheel balancing cones off Amazon. Oh yeah, it doesn't come with these set colors either, so we had to make all these up. Dan had to make, I say we, but really everything's been Dan. So set collars off. We take our alignment cones off. So now we can stick our facing head in. Nobody told me business would be this hard. Just crank this all the way in. I hope this fits. I'm no machinist, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use 2 bars on this too, actually. I just remembered. I was only using the one when I was setting it up, but I'll get the second bar. I'll show you how that goes on. Stick our handle on, and then when you turn it on, watch the little red and yellow. Click, and that feeds it out. Right? Click, and that feeds it out. Every rotation, it feeds out. When you unlock it, nothing. It doesn't turn. It's science. Before I bolt it, I'll put a second bar on here. I watch Dan do this stuff. He's just like so smooth, knows what he's doing every time, but of course I don't. Oh, up, Dan, can you fix this steering shaft? You got no idea how hard it is right now. There we go. That went easy. Put our Michael bolt in. Okay, now the fun part. It's all the fun part. It's all fun when you work with me. Let's trying to get my key started. There, that's our drive unit. Snuggle that up to there. Feed unit alpha and feed unit zappa. With the power of editing, I have nothing up. Okay, that's all we want. There we go. On, on, on. So that's our control box. There we go. So now we got our feed. Okay, I don't know what this thing do, but it make me look like I know what I'm doing. I fucking hate dial indicator stands because they always get so fucking janky, but like I don't know. I always fight with them more than I should probably. And people laugh at me. All the real machine is just cringing at me. I'm just glad Curtis doesn't watch our channel. I really look up to him. These guys are obviously rookies. You think, dude? Jeez, obviously. I'm just going to 0 us here. There you go. So now, if you watch, we'll feed in, watch the needle move. Look at that. And now we're just feeding in a few thou at a time. Go back to 0, 0 ourselves out. I'm gonna fire this thing up. Going the right way. I'll feed in a little bit. See, watching. Every time it goes around, it clicks and goes out. So now we're going feeding up. This is the fun part. Set it and forget it. Not much to see. That's the gist of it so far. Yeah, that's it so far. Yeah, we'll check back in a little bit. This is the slow process, so see you in a few. Bye. So it's not feeding anymore. Then we'll turn our unit off. So we fed in about 25 thou from 0. I'll do a few more passes under there. Let's go another 10 thou cut. That's 10 thou. Start spinning again. And start feeding. I just like to see it, like, sometimes you can see when there's chips and it's obvious, but it's nice to see where it's starting to skim. It's for the audience, man. It gives you guys a better visual of what you're looking at. Let that do its thing. Then we'll be good on that side. See that dark line or that step kind of thing in the middle? That's about where we're going to. So it's already halfway there. I can't remember how much. I think every rotation was like 2-3 thou or something like that. It's not much at all. I'm just glad it's consistently been feeding now, so good. Cool. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Just a little bit proud there to do it all over again on the other side. You're welcome to hang out and watch. No, the camera just shakes. No. You're welcome to hang out and watch. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. What a fucking boring job.
Back to Keith.
Okay. I gotta figure out how to mount a relay, a switch, and get the electrical from in the cab out the bottom of the cab to activate this valve. So we're gonna pull the cab apart, see if we can expose some of it, figure out a good place to mount and run wiring. I hate working and pulling floor mats out and paneling out with the travel handles in, so I'm gonna quickly yank the travel handles and pedals out just to get them out of my way. I use these ones instead of those flex head ones. I tend to not bust my knuckles up as quick with these ones. So I'm gonna figure out how to pull this panel off. We're gonna mount the switch in this dead space that's made for an extra switch. And somewhere in here, we're gonna find a spot to put a relay, you know, hang it out somewhere, strap it in, mount it, whichever way works best as we pull it apart, and we'll find a spot. I'm sure people are gonna watch this and say, oh, you idiot, just do this, but I haven't done it yet, so. I'm just undoing bolts now. Reach in and unplug the power source. All right, we found the relay bank and everything at the same time. So we can actually do all our electrical here. We're just gonna hang this out, and now we can get in here. So first we'll check for power, key on. We got 12 volts, key on. Power disappears when the machine is off. That's perfect. Now, can we get into this housing? Oh, that's a whole different story now. I can't get my fat fingers in there. Okay. We can mount our switch and everything in there. They used to have these nice little plastic caps. I guess that 37 cents was too expensive, so they just put stickers over them now. Good old John Deere. Huh. Literally, it's a sticker. Right? So we're gonna grab our aftermarket switch. Fits in perfectly. We're gonna run some wiring now. Looks like somebody's been in here wiring something aftermarket onto this wire as well, so we'll both tag off of it. And I'll give them credit. They taped it up decently. No, this one wasn't me. I don't use this tape. I use the cheap black tape. Okay, now what we're gonna find out here is if the GPS guy did a job connecting the wires, or if he did a nice job. He did well. He soldered it and everything. Tell you what, that's better than what I'm gonna do. I'm impressed. He did a good job. So we'll make sure his loom all stays on. He used cheap loom though. Could have spent more than $3 on loom. Because we're actually going to tag our power and ground off of this as well, which a solenoid uses so little power and ground. But we're going to rob that as well. Can we look really professional and have this mounted in here? That's the question. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? That's a vice grip, but Klein makes them too. Okay, so can we get through here? We're gonna cut a little hole in it. That's what we're gonna do. You see it coming out the bottom? Perfect. I was feeling the relay click on and off. So with the key on, it'll turn on, key off, turn off. Okay, so I'll strap this up a little bit and clean this up and then put the cab back together. I don't know if that was very fast, but it's done. Last plug-in, connecting all the wiring to the solenoid. And I'll quickly give it a once over, make sure all my hoses and fittings are tight. Then we're gonna drop the cab back down. I'll hook up that, quick couplers, fire it up, check for leaks, and hopefully keep our fingers crossed it works. Everybody has an Uncle Bob. Okay, so we're gonna lower the cab down next. And then we'll get the bucket positioned. Brake clean, mechanic's hand cleaner. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of weird that. Oh, there we go. We'll fire it up and hit the solenoid and see what happens here. Now that we've ran it, I want to make sure there's no leaks under here. No oil leaking. Everything's sitting nicely. We're good. We can put this machine back down and bolt the cab back down and finish putting everything on, and Bob's your uncle. My employees would be shaking their head right now because I say it all the time. And then they'd be like, "You're so old."
Old but not expired.
Right. Jesus. And that's why you don't use chrome sockets on impact guns. It wrecks the little holder. I'm out. That's Keith approved. Maybe I'm gonna zip tie, yeah. That looks a little nicer, doesn't it? Keith approved.
Finally, for you creepy guys that have been waiting, here's Tyler. After fixing the excavator, he is now getting an error code.
Yeah, fixed it. Still don't know what's wrong with it. There's a code in the dash now. I hit the eSIM with a hammer, now I got other issues. God damn it. All right, so tonight we're working on a Cat 314E. E stands for everything is Customer complaint is it's thrown a, not a check engine light, but one of those service lights. Fault code is a 1666-5, which is a variable relief valve number 2 pressure solenoid, current below normal. So now we look at the old electrical schematic. and do some swap Gnostics. Let's do the TWC special. Do, 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 do. Do, do. Remember, kids, cut towards yourself. That way you don't gotta worry about work tomorrow. All I'm gonna do is turn the key on and see if I made a new code. All right, so that was our first code, the 1666. Variable relief valve solenoid number 2 pressure solenoid. Or was the first fault code we had. I just created this one. Current below normal, variable relief valve number 1 pressure solenoid. You can program a lot of with these. It's pretty fucking neat. I ain't smart enough to explain how it all works. You can program like 20 different fucking work tool modes and like dial your pressures, your flows, your cycle times, everything. So they're pretty dope that way. But when they started doing all this bullshit, they started putting these goofy fucking things on here too. So I think we have an issue with the right-hand side. So we'll pull the meter out, test some shit. I'll probably go and make a quick jumper harness to flip them side to side. Do some cool shit, show you guys some stuff tonight, because other than that, we got to get parts, so we'll have to come back tomorrow night to finish it off. Okay, let's get some diagnostics stuff. Motherfucking how-to videos on the Tekamo channel. This is how you make a Deutsch plug. And this is how Tyler f***ed up said Deutsch plug. People in the comments are like, this guy's retarded. It takes me like 30 seconds to make a Deutsch plug. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this on the camera. In the pin, there's a little tiny fucking hole. And you want to make sure you can see the wire through that hole. And then when you put your crimp, you want to do about half in the center of your crimp part of the pin. And after that, you take said wire and put it in the hole. Now, on the back side of most plugs, they're numbered 1 and 2. The wire coming out of pin number 1 is going to go to pin number 1 on the receiving end. That way don't go and create a fucking problem. I've never done that. Because I don't f*** up. That totally missed the wire. Do better. I've never f***ed up. F*** you. I f***ed up lots. Not proud of it, but they're not f***ups. They're learning moments. A f***up is when you keep doing it over and over and over again. It's my first time, man. I don't give a f***. Do better. There it is. All right, so now we're pinned up. Deutsch plugs are a bit unique and interesting in the way of you use female pins in your male ends, and then you take a little connector lock and slide it in there. And on your female side, you use male pins. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. It's all fucking done. Let's give it the old fucking uneducated try. So put this one here. All right, there we go. Hey, Brandon, can you hit the back button on the computer there? That one, yeah. Click OK. So nice having a helping hand. Okay, go back. Click OK. Okay, go back. Click OK. Go back. Click OK. Did the 65 code just go out?
Yeah.
So what I'm doing, if I unplug this solenoid, I create a code. Right now, with this one unplugged, my code isn't changing. So now with my thought process, I either have a bad harness, which I doubt it, or my solenoid is yeah. I'm gonna have to pin this out, make sure our harness is good. Number 1. Little banana clip here. So doing this, if you have continuity between multiple circuits, it's an indication of a short. But we only have continuity on this one wire, which is a blue. Let's change it over down here to that circuit and start pinning it out again. Okay, so 6 ohms. All right, so our harness is testing out good. Don't know why I have such massive resistance on that circuit unless there's a fucking solenoid or a resistor in circuit, which to me don't make sense. I don't know. Let's try jumping it out there, see what happens. If we can get our code to change from a -5 to a -6, that's a good indication that the harness is good and pins it right to the solenoid. So with putting the jumper in up top, that eliminates the solenoid out of it, and this code should change from a -5 to a -6. It didn't do that. My hunch, after thinking it was the solenoid, is proving that it might be the fucking machine harness an issue. We'll have to keep digging, chase that harness, see where it goes. It's gonna be a fun one. I don't know what the fucking problem is. My gut's leaning towards a bit of a wiring issue. And at fucking 9,000, 8,000 hours, 8,300 hours, anything's a possibility. Unfortunately, I'll have to come back to this thing with a bit more research. So we'll keep troubleshooting that. We'll keep on keeping on. One way or another, I'll fuck something up. Yeah, I'm just gonna pack up some of my tools. My last free drink from McDonald's, they fired me. Not a very good troubleshooter.
Tyler's got an update for you.
Yeah, so anyways, the next day after I got some sleep and looked at the schematic again and did some thought processes, not some swap gnostics, I just ran an overlay and it seemed to fix it. So the code went away. It probably came back, but it went away when I was there. So I ran my overlay and it seems to have fixed it. If you say you can't have too many overlays in your machine, you're wrong. You're gonna have all the overlays. 1, 2, 12, 36. An overlay never stops. You can overlay your overlay. It just looks greasy as f. But yeah, there we go. I think I can fix things. Yo, remember, have a great night. Oh, how does it go again? Oh no, I forgot my own line. Beep boop. I love you because God doesn't. You're all gonna go to hell. Yeah, no, I watched me dumb fucking TikToks. My brain's all f***ed up. Now, y'all have a great night. Remember, God loves you because I sure as f*** don't.
My last Tekamo hat got all dirty and messed up, and I love it. Perfect summer ones. That one's gonna be a good one. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Don't scan it. Can you get in there with your phone? Let's see what it says. I don't trust you guys. It's not working. I don't know how to use my phone. Oh, now it comes up with something. Oh no. You don't want to see that one.
Are you an experienced heavy-duty mechanic thinking about going on your own? Click the link in the description to fill out the form. Tekamo, your heavy equipment support network.